soft.
Then look, perfect. What do you think compared to the first one?
I think this would be closer.
It is closer. Perfect. Very good technique.
Yep.
Kind of document that new grip. That was good.
I didn't see it. Turn left.
Turn left. It would started out pretty straight, and
Did
then
it go way left?
no, way left. No.
Oh.
And keep in mind, you're always going to own a miss, but we're going to change what that miss is. What's going to go away? The weak shot to the right will not be your miss. It'll probably be a strong hook, but that's a better miss because the non-misses will be better shots than the non-misses of the other one.
Right. Let's improve my misses here.
Let's improve your misses. With that grip, I don't think it's possible, not even possible to hit the bad shot anymore.
Good.
These are going out there too. These are big shots.
I don't.
Tell you, Justin, you're just striping it. These are just carbon copies. Now, I don't want you to know the driver. I want to have you hit a couple of balls where you. All I want you to do.
Not one of those felt solid.
Yeah, no, that's. So all I want you to do, we're going to just kind of with the new grip. I just want you to punch some in a straight line. You're just going to try to let your right hand identify what square, what straight feels like in a straight line. Good. Just kind of hit some of those shots right now. And you can have a little wrist hinge if you want some. We're going straight. There we go. But we're now delivering the club square with the new grip. And that's what I needed to accomplish here. See, if I were to do this drill, I'd be hitting that ground every time.
Yeah.
And you're not hitting the ground every time. So I need to
hit the ground.
Okay. Both that ground. Let me see if it goes right. Like you said, you can hit that same spot every time. Okay. Now let's talk about the geometry of low point.
Okay, so if you hit this ball, okay, where would the divot be?
Divot's going to be in front of the line.
Okay. And if you stood here all day and hit balls, how many times would the divot be behind that line?
0.
0, right.
How do we get the low point in front of the ball? We got to get the handle in front of the ball. So we got to have shaft landing. You have a tendency to be too vertical.
Yeah, and that's how I hit that scoopy high.
That's right. So I need you to set up and almost feel like there's from the left shoulder straight line all the way through the shaft. I don't want there to be an angle here.
Okay. Yeah, no, I hear you. Okay.
So we're going to have shaft landing. And then remember you're probably holding your spine angle longer through impact. You're not lifting your chest quite so early. geometry in some way. It's a very subtle way. But the evidence is obvious. Yeah, get that. That shot had character.
That ball just felt really good coming off the face.
That you had sweet spot.
Yeah.
You've been hitting 2 grooves below sweet spot. Wow, Justin.
I don't know where it went.
It was really good. I had all of these on tape. Yay! Oh, what a good one to finish on.
Where is it?
High draw. Cool. Justin, I wanted to show you the before and after on the grip change. On the left was your original grip, and I want you to notice where this crease right here is pointing this way. And then we changed it so that the right hand, so your palm is almost facing down to the ground if you were to open your hand. It was not in the same plane as the face of the club. On the right, we changed the grip so that this line now is on the same plane as the face of the club. So your palm is basically facing that direction, just like the face of the club is. This crease now is going between your right ear and right shoulder, which is where I want it. Justin, I'm going to compare your swing to Tiger Woods. I started with the impact position. The picture on the right was video I took of Tiger at the U.S. Open last June. I have special PGA credentials that allows me inside the ropes at any PGA event. So I was fortunate enough to get close enough to Tiger to get some good shots on a face-on view of his swing. I've frozen the ball, or the picture, for both of you at impact. Impact's the most important position because everything the golf ball does, how far it goes, how high it goes, how much it spins and curves, is a direct response to only one thing, and that's the laws of physics and motion that exist at the moment of impact. So here we have you at impact, and let's look at some of the difference between you and Tiger. And if I freeze framed almost any PGA player in the same position, they would look very similar to Tiger. A lot of the pros look different before impact, and a lot of the pros look different after impact. But one of the things that makes these pros is that they all look pretty similar at impact. Impact is the moment of truth. Let's first look at weight distribution. The red arrow coming off of his left foot is passing almost right through his belt buckle. So the center of his hips is sitting on top of his left foot. The average pro will have 85 to 90% of their weight on their left side at the moment of impact. Justin, your weight distribution is more 50-50 at impact. We need to be 85 to 90% of our weight on our left side in order to have a better impact position. In order to hit the ball first and in the ground, in order to have our low point of our arc in front of the ball, we have to have our weight forward and our hands forward. In order to hit better shots, I have to have you in a better impact position. One is to get our weight more on the left side, because the center of your golf circle will tend to move where the mass moves. So if your weight is on the left side, the center of your golf circle will be more to the left side. And if the center of your golf circle is more to the left side, then that means the low point of that circle will be in front of the golf ball and not at the ball or behind the golf ball. Second thing we do is we try to have our hands in front of the ball at impact so that we have what we call shaft lean. So the club still is going down before the club head passes underneath the butt end of the handle. And you can see at this point, Tiger's hands are past his left foot. Now this is a fraction past impact, pretty close to the same place as you are, but your hands are almost behind the golf ball. Your hands are even with your right thigh. Tiger's hands are even with his left. What I want to do now is go post-impact and see how things look as you continue forward to your follow-through. Start with Tiger. So when Tiger gets into, this is called the 9th position. His right arm is basically parallel to the ground. He's still looking down. Let's take you to that position. Okay, that's pretty good. You're still looking down. So that looks good. I like the fact that your left hand, the gloved hand, is underneath your right hand, just like Tiger's is. So you have crossed your wrist, your right arm is parallel. You're starting to rehinge the shaft. Tiger's shaft is up here. Your shaft is up there, so you're starting to rehinge. From the waist up, there's a lot of similarities between you and Tiger. Let me point out a couple of differences. To me, where the difference is greatest is in the distribution. If I draw a single line up his left foot here, and a single line from your left foot. Again, you have most of your weight behind your left foot. He has most of his weight right on top of his left foot. He also has that left leg almost fully extended. He's almost has a locked knee. And you have soft knees. You're not really standing tall and posting up in your left hip. Let me take you up to the finish and take Tiger up to the finish. When Tiger finishes, he is extremely tall, standing very tall in that left leg. Center of his mass, he has more weight on his left foot. He's got about 99% of his weight. He could literally lightly tap his back foot. He has very little weight on it. So he is solidly posted up on his left side. One thing that I want to point out is his back foot and your back foot. So Tiger has moved so far on top of his left foot that his sole is like this and yours is like that. So you still have all 5 of your toes flat on the ground. He just has the very, very tip of his toe on the ground. So you're going to have a pro finish by the end of Tuesday. So I want to look at some of the things you might do before impact that cause you not to reach the optimal impact position. Here we are at the setup, the beginning of the swing. First, let's look at Tiger. Both of you have a nice extension in both arms as you set up, elbows close together. Tiger has a little more shaft lean where his hands are slightly in front of the ball. You have a little bit of shaft lean. It's not totally vertical, but Tiger has a little bit more. Now I'm going to draw a box and see where the weight distribution is at the beginning of the swing. Here's from the center of your ankles to the top of your head. Here's Tiger. Y'all are somewhat similar. I would tell you that you have a little bit of your right hip outside. I'm going to draw lines to border your hips. There's your right and left hip. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'll do it in blue for Tiger. He's here and here. So Tiger's left hip is a little bit outside the red box, and your left hip is a little bit inside the yellow box. So you have your hips more towards your right foot. Tiger has his hips more to his left foot. Tiger's about 55% of his weight on his left foot, and you have about 55% of your weight on your back foot. Tiger's already in kind of a little mini impact position at the start of the swing. Remember, you have to have 85 to 90% of your weight on the left leg at impact in order to have the best chance for a good, solid hit of the golf ball. And so there's really no value to be on the right side. There's no value of moving to the right because that just makes it harder to get sufficiently to the left. So Tiger's on the left to start with, and he'll basically do a backswing, and he'll have a very stable axis golf swing, and it will be kind of around that left side. We're going to take it back to the 3 position. This is when the left arm is parallel to the ground. I'm going to take you back to the 3 position. Again, Tiger's back and left hip are still on top of that left line coming off his left foot. Tiger's left knee is right here, and your knee is right here. So Tiger's right knee is just inside the box, and from the knee to the center of his hip is going this way. This is your knee, and it's pretty vertical, maybe a little bit in. but both of your legs are angled. You've rocked both of your knees this way, and Tiger is not is more vertical, and so he is doing things in his backswing that's going to make it much easier for him to get to the left side at impact. Here's Grant Waite in the 3 position. Grant was a tour player during the 90s and considered by many as having one of the best swings in golf. Grant is now one of the top tour player instructors. He has a teaching partner, Joe Mayo, who lives here in Las Vegas and a good friend of mine. But let's look at his weight distribution in the 3 position. Again, he's got his back on the, you can see how he definitely has more weight on his left leg than his right leg. Now, we can't work on 5 things, 10 things. I need to identify 1 or 2 things to work on that I think are the best next things that you work on. And so we need to work on weight shift control in your backswing and to remove this sway to the right. And that's first. I've got to get that new backswing down before I worry about the other things. What I want to work on first is, in terms of your backswing, work on a new way of moving your lower body. The upper body is behaving pretty sound and fundamentally correct, but it's how you use your legs in your backswing that needs to be reworked a little bit. And then I want to work on that final finish where you get all the way to your left side. So that's what I want to work on first, and I want to rebuild how you move your legs in a golf swing. And that will help you hit the ball first, get the low point in front. So there's a means to an end. The reality is the end is what we need to achieve. We need to be able to hit the ball and then the turf. That requires getting the low point in front of the ball. Getting the low point in front of the ball requires getting our weight in front of the ball. Requires getting our hands in front of the ball. So the purpose of changing your backswing is to have a better impact position.